Welcome to my channel, Bigboomriver.
How to build and read the perfect HUD for 6max cash games. Welcome to the Bigboomriver HUD Masterclass. Today we are not just talking about what stats mean, we are talking about how to convert data into decisions and decisions into profit. Because the HUD itself does nothing, understanding does. Let's clarify what we'll cover today. First, where you actually need a HUD. Second, why HUD pools are tougher. Third, how to correctly interpret key stats. Fourth, how professionals combine stats with nodes. Fifth, how to exploit player types. And finally, how to convert numbers into real exploit decisions. This is not a beginner overview, this is about thinking like a professional. There are two ecosystems in online poker. HUD environments are data-driven. No-HUD environments are observation-driven. Different skill sets are required. On HUD sites, you exploit long-term statistical tendencies. On no-HUD sites, you exploit memory, population tendencies, and behavioral reads. Different information sources mean different exploit strategies. On sites like PokerStars or CoinPoker, HUDs are allowed. This means you can track long-term tendencies, you can statistically profile regulars, and you can exploit with precision. Over time, information compounds, and players who cannot interpret data fall behind. On sites like GG Poker, QQPK, or WPT Global, HUDs are not allowed. So what changes? Observation becomes critical. Memory becomes a weapon. Population reads become extremely important. Manual profiling through nodes replaces automated stats. Even without software, you can build a manual HUD. But what makes a high quality node? Track behavior patterns, track sizing tells, track showdown tendencies, track timing tells, and time bank usage. Build behavior profiles. Good nodes are specific, bad nodes are emotional. Now this is extremely important. A HUD shows statistical tendencies. Nodes can add psychology and context. Stats tell you what, nodes explain why. Optimal decisions come from integration. Never rely only on numbers. In HUD pools, information compounds. Leaks are detected quickly, weak regulars disappear, mistakes get punished faster, and most importantly, information accelerates the skill gap. HUD pools are tougher overall, but they can be softer for you if your interpretation skill is superior. You can exploit weak regulars, punish players who misread stats, extract value faster from recreationals. The HUD doesn't create the edge, interpretation does. Every stat equals a frequency. It shows tendencies, not certainty. Interpret stats together. Context always matters. Larger sample sizes reduce statistical errors. And remember, never trust low frequency stats early. Low frequency equals high variance. My HUD is structured for decision efficiency. Line 1, preflop stats and sample. Identify player type. Line 2, steals. Positional exploitation. Line 3, Cbets. Post-flop pressure patterns. Line 4, global stats and check raise. Each line answers a different strategic question. VPIP tells us how loose someone is. 23 to 28 is a solid reg. Over 35, we have a strong recreational indicator. Under 20, we have a big nit indicator. We need minimum 500 hands for reliability. VPIP is your first profiling tool. PFR tells us who takes initiative. 19 to 23 is a solid reg. High PFR is an indicator for aggression. A large gap between VPIP and PFR is an indicator for a passive player. Advanced players add here a pop-up with raise first in per position. Again, also for this stat we need about 500 hands minimum. Now we combine. 40-10 is a classic passive fish. It's the main target for us in the pool, and we want to play as many pots as possible against this player type because that's where the money comes from. 14-12 is an example for a nit. We exploit by stealing small pots and we overfold to aggression. 26-22 is a classic rag. If we haven't found an exploit yet, we play a GTO baseline. Solid rags 3-bet around 10 to 12%. If somebody 3-bets under 9%, it's likely that he is a nit. We exploit by overfolding to 3-bets and we never 4-bet bluff. If somebody 3-bets over 12%, that's a very big indicator for an overly aggressive player, and we need to exploit by tighter openings. We also need to extend our 4-betting range to punish the aggressive 3-bets. For this stat, we need around 2000 hands, and when we are more advanced, we can add a pop-up to our heads-up display to see 3-bet stats for every position to find finer exploits. Solid rags fold around 50 to 60% to 3-bet. If a player folds more than 70%, he is likely a nit. We exploit by 3-betting more and especially by adding bluffs to our 3-betting range. A player that folds under 50% to 3-bets is a station, and we exploit by underbluffing and by going thinner for value. If you are more advanced, you can fold to 3-bet for specific positions to your heads-up display, optimally by a pop-up. We need about 2000 hand sample so that we can rely on the stat. Now we get to the stealing stats, and I don't want to go too much into detail because they will depend a lot on the stake and on the site and on the rake environment of the site you're playing on. So here you see optimal defense frequencies of 15L PokerStars rake, but you need to check for your own stake by yourself. First example is blind versus blind. Second example is big blind or small blind defend against a button open raise. If the big blind or the blinds are too tight, we can open raise wider. If they are too loose, we need to be tighter and size up potentially for value. For every stat, we need around 100 cases. And now I'm going to show you how to look up optimal defense frequencies. To find out what are optimal defense frequencies for your stake on the website you're playing on I recommend checking out partner of this video, GTO Wizard, and save yourself a 10% discount by using the affiliate link in the description. Here you can just click on the stack size you're looking for and the stake. Let's see here, 500 NL, open raising size 2.5 big blinds. The strategy GTO Wizard recommends. So we have a button open raise and just see what is the small blind doing against that. So here's the 3-betting answer and the calling answer. After the small blind folds, we see here 3-bet stat and calling stat of the big blind. Solid rags Cbet optimally in position around 60 to 70%. Out of position 45 to 60%. If somebody Cbets too much, we can exploit by increasing our check raise frequency, and we need to make sure not to overfold by realizing the minimum defense frequency. If the Cbet stat is too low, we need to exploit by overfolding to the Cbet. Also, we need to decrease our check raise frequency, not to value town ourselves. If we are more advanced, we can add stats to the fold to Cbet and the Cbet stats on turn and river. For every stat, we need 100 cases so that we can start using the stat. Check raising stats are extremely important. If a player has less than 10% check raise, it's a big indicator that he is too passive. His defense is capped and we need to overfold, of course, against his aggression. The key is that when he's not check raising enough, that we are allowed to Cbet a lot. Important for us is that we are also forced to size up for value, because the out of position player is not going to do the job for us building the pot. Standard is 14% and everything over 16% is very aggressive. If we play against a very aggressive check raiser, we need to decrease bluff Cbets and we can increase value Cbets. So for every case here, we need around 100 cases for a tendency. The one man saw flop stat should be optimally between 48 to 52%. Everything under 48% is likely passive and we can increase our bluffing frequency. Everything over 52 is likely aggressive and we need to make sure to defend correctly. The one money in showdown stat should be optimally between 49 and 53%. Everything under 49% is likely a station and we should be careful and probably underbluff. Over 54% is likely a nit and we need to make sure to overfold. When to showdown is optimally between 28 and 33%. Under 27% means that the player is overfolding. We are allowed to overbluff. Over 33% is a station. We are allowed to go for thin value and we should underbluff. The global stats, one man saw flop, one money in showdown and went to showdown must be interpreted together. Never make a decision on one stat. Also confirm reasonable VPIP. A nit can have a very high one man saw flop because this pre-flop range is so strong. Let's just assume a nit plays 5% VPIP, so it will have aces all the time or top range, so the likelihood that he will win the pot after the flop is very high just because the range is so strong. Patterns matter. Here you see very classic player type combinations. I don't want to go through them now, but it will help you a lot to classify a player based on global behavior. HUDs help pros to exploit faster. Faster information transfer increases skill polarization. Recreational protection is important, but realistically, HUDs likely remain because there are contracts between the provider of HUDs and the poker websites. Preflop stats, reliable fast. Postflop, moderate sample. Showdown stats require large sample. Low frequency actions equal high variance. Never over adjust early. If HUDs are allowed, study them. Data literacy is mandatory. Interpretation equals edge. The HUD does not make you a crusher, understanding does.
I don't just coach, I help you optimize your entire poker setup.